Yo. The fact that he blatantly in the video said Ryu is above bullet timing, and then blatantly said Batman's been shot, and then proceeded to say that Batman could match Ryu in speed. The fact that that's in the video is absurd in itself. The scaling of Ryu's strength, I expected. I even called it before we watched it. I was like, he's gonna bring up the boulder thing. Yeah, like that's if you're casual, if you're like a casual in Street Fighter scaling, you know about the boulder feat. So I wasn't really too worried about that. As far as I know, Batman in Arkham is definitely not as strong as that, but Ryu's obviously stronger when you get into the actual scaling, which we'll get into in a little bit. But there's also another time where he admits he had to run from Bane. He had to become elusive and hide from Bane, which if you're trying to hide from somebody in a fight, it's because you're losing. Okay, like that's I don't need to explain that. So he starts going into he starts going into how yeah, like he starts going into like oh, he would just like do all this ninja stuff on Ryu. Like, is this a fight or is this like him catching him off? Because don't get me wrong, if Batman catches Ryu slipping while Ryu's on his journeyman stuff, walking down a highway with his handbag, then yeah, Batman's gonna probably win because he's catching this dude off guard. But this is a fight, so they're just gonna fight straight up. And like he, so we have the bullet timing thing. Then we have him openly admitting he's losing fights and has to hide. I don't have to go into like Ryu's sensory. I don't have to go into how he's able to predict Bison's teleports. You know, that's should anybody that's ever played Street Fighter. If you're over the age of 25, you should know that Ryu. That's common. Um, but yeah, the video just has so many things that are just ridiculous and contradicting in it. But I don't, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Akuma never he Akuma fought an old Gin. Yeah, Akuma fought an old Gin and killed that man. He didn't care. He didn't care this man was 80. Literally killed him. Like the whole lore about Akuma is that you climb the mountain and you test yourself. That's actually in the I believe the Street Fighter 4 origin for Akuma. He lives on this mountain it's life and death to climb it. So you're not gonna really make the climb unless you're a boy. And if you do make the climb, you're met with the challenge of fighting him. and if you fail, you die. And a lot of people up until Goken died, who is Ryu's master before Ryu had to be trained by guys like Dhalsim and Oro. So, like, this dude's already fought countless people, has killed countless people, thousands have died at his fist, and you're telling me this dude shattered a meteor with a punch just because he looked at it as a challenge for his fist, and he casually did it, landed back on Earth, and was like, okay, easy work, easy clap, and disintegrated it. Like the meteor was gone, like it was never there. Yeah. Yeah. And just like if you don't want to look it up, first of all, avoid Reddit. This has to be said, Danko. Somebody needs to tell Danko to stay off Reddit and start doing research because it's ridiculous. The word for word phrasing he does off of Reddit is crazy. If you're ever watching a Danko video, you're watching this video, you're ever watching a Danko video, research on Reddit respect threads the characters in his video, and you will come across word for word statements being read off, which is probably why he repeats the same premise like 3 times in one video, which annoys me to no end. It's so annoying to hear that. But anyway, if you want to scale it and you don't want to like do the research on what's canon, just stay away from the animes. Anything that's an epilogue or prologue to the video games is canon. If it's written by Udon Comics, it's still canon because those comics were written when those games were being released, and they follow the storyline of the games and tie-ins to different universes like Darkstalkers and rival schools and so on and so forth. So that's all you need to do to follow what's canon. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Evil Ryu in Street Fighter V was actually defeating like arguably the strongest version of Akuma bar Oni or Shin Akuma. Well, Shin Akuma is the one we see after Third Strike, who ascends with like the God Fist, who can destroy islands and the planet. Then Oni Akuma in Street Fighter 4 is an even stronger Akuma than that. But this Akuma in Street Fighter 5, the way it's presented, is like he's either equal to Oni Akuma or he's stronger. So it would be stronger than the normal Akuma we've had throughout the years of Street Fighter. Literally a fraction of Ryu, this evil Ryu, this presence, was walking around beating mad fighters, just beating up mad fighters while Ryu was asleep. Or he was either asleep or he was meditating. And evil Ryu, his a fraction of himself, just wandering around beating up all these characters. And then he comes back and Ryu bolos evil Ryu. He bolos that version of himself. So even base Ryu scales above evil Ryu still. So as of Street Fighter V. So I just don't understand, like, well, you know what? I don't think he mentioned it because I don't think the Reddit threads scale Ryu and Evil Ryu as like the same character. I mean, if he's going by gameplay, yeah, because like Evil Ryu is a separate character selection than Ryu in the gameplay. So yeah, yeah, he just doesn't research the scans for context. He just sees, he just assumes that Reddit has all the context needed and provided. And I don't want people to get it twisted. I don't care about Danco. I don't care about those. Like, I guess it's more so. the fact that the problem with Danko lies in the fact that he just reads off of Reddit. The real problem with the scaling is that Reddit apparently might be worse than Comic Con, but like I don't know. I don't have a problem with Danko. I don't really care about Danko. Danko, whatever, seems like a chill dude. But it's just crazy that he's regurgitating this nonsense he's reading without at least looking up the information. So I don't know. Yeah. And like for the people who are gonna say, "Oh well, Batman's a martial artist," like, are you if you're gonna fall back on that? I don't remember seeing Batman fight the best Muay Thai practitioner. Like they say, he's fluent in every single martial arts. I haven't seen him fight the best fighter that represents those martial arts that he's mastered. I mean, unless you're gonna bring up Wildcat, but Wildcat's a jobber. Wildcat gets beat up by everybody, even in boxing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like unless you're gonna wank Batman and like unless you're gonna do out of Versal wank for Batman and like be dishonest or semantical, that's fine. But consistently Ryu's just massively above Batman in skill and in AP and durability. Like it's just what Ryu consistently has to deal with is far greater than Batman having to like dodge crowbars from a clown. Like yeah. I think he just wanted a Batman video out there because of the Batman trailer that came out recently. Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, if Ryu's not getting punched in the face by Akuma, he's fighting his evil side. He's fought Bison, he's fought Gil, he's trained with Oro. I mean, yeah, I don't know. All right, yeah. So the Hado, yeah, the Hado and Dark Hado are well, the Dark Hado represents your evil intent essentially, and the Hado is just everything that makes up. It's like a conduit to what makes the universe, what binds it together, what creates. So when Ryu's tapping into these and he's mastering it, he's literally tapping into the energies of the universe. And what ultimately ends up happening is that by mastering these two, he refers to them as dualities later on. But by mastering these two things, you essentially gain enlightenment. And enlightenment in Street Fighter is directly stated all power to obtain all power within the universe. Now, there's different ways, there's different links to this to enlightenment. There's different paths you can take to it. You don't have to master the Hado and Dark Hado, but those are ways to achieve enlightenment. And once you achieve enlightenment within the Street Fighter universe, it's explained by Dalsim and Sagat, who also trains under Dalsim, that enlightenment is the power of everything in the known universe. And um, all things in all knowledge in the universe. So it's the power and the knowledge of the universe itself. And once he does this, he easily no diffs Oni Akuma. Um, he can casually BFR Gil, and Gil that same Gil that he BFR'd literally held together an entire dimension separate of space time. So we know which was created by a Darkstalker's character. Oh, I forget it, his name escapes me, but it's in the Darkstalkers crossover. Gil holds a dimension together, and in doing so, we already know that if since that dimension was created outside of space time, and it's referred to as a universe. No. It's I can get his name. I can get his name really quick right here. Da da da. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, here we go. I got it. It's Jeddah, the Darkstalker character known as Jeddah. Um, yeah, it's in the guild section in the scan server. But yeah. So Jeddah created a universe, a dimension outside of time, and Gil had to use his power to hold the dimension together because all of the energies that were binding that dimension were attacking Gil. And if he was to succumb to it, the dimension would have just collapsed on him. So he held it together. Ryu BFR that Gil casually. So and I believe Gil also was depowered by Ryu because Ryu also depowered Akuma in the previous fight. So there's casual universal scaling that's consistent across the board for Akuma, for because Akuma achieves enlightenment through his path. Um, Goken is stated to achieve enlightenment through his path. Dalsim is stated to achieve enlightenment. Ryu achieves enlightenment. Gil achieves, and there's so many characters that achieve the enlightenment path in Street Fighter. So the universal scaling is really easy to understand once you read the comics, but you just have to read the comic. That's all. Yeah.